What it do? It's your favorite Texas boy, and we back with another video. So today we are going to talk about a subject that I always get asked about, and that is, do you need a car to move around and be okay in Puerto Rico? Like, is it absolutely necessary for you to have a car in Puerto Rico? For me, the answer is no. You do not need a car unless you are planning on driving deep into the island. And that is usually for the type of tourist that most people aren't. Or if you're planning on living here and then going deep into the island, yes, because everything is up towards the north of the island, towards the city part of the island. So yes, you may need a car for that. But for the most part, for most visitors, most people who are coming here on vacation, just for a short stay, especially if you're staying up on the northern side of the island, up towards San Juan, Carolina, Isla Verde, even Piñones, Cataño, areas up in the upper metro area, Old San Juan, places like that. You do not need a car because everything is literally right there. Sorry, it seems like it's a lot of noise going on today. But everything is literally right here in this one area, right? So you can catch Ubers out here. One thing I found out, Ubers are incredibly cheap out here. Ubers are incredibly cheap out here. You can get Ubers in Dallas, Texas that would normally cost $10 to $15. You can get those same Ubers for $4 to $6 and go a nice little distance. Also, another thing which was interesting to me that they do out here is they have something called Uber Cash, where you can actually pay cash for your Uber like a taxi. Like, it doesn't charge your card. So let's say you're having some card issues or anything like that. If you happen to have cash on you, you can book your Uber ride and it'll have the cash option, and you just pay the Uber driver cash, which I think is pretty dope. Because we don't have that option in Texas, or not that I know of, unless they just added it. So the Uber option out here is very convenient. And then also too, the public transportation is a very popular option out here, because it can get you literally anywhere you need to go where there are people at. One thing about it is that currently right now public transportation is free. So you can literally travel a good part of the metro part of the island for free through the public transportation system, whether you want to get on the bus, whether you want to get on the train. It's all free currently. I don't know how much longer that's gonna last, but currently it is free. So that is also a great option as well to move around. And you will find a lot of people on the island who will tell you the same. It's not just a necessity to have one, but it is good to have one if you want to start taking deep trips to the island, deep into the rainforest. For the visitors, for visitors who are coming out here on vacation, they usually have excursions, right? And those excursions, they will come pick the customer up from specific locations, so you don't necessarily need a car to get to your excursions. I know that was a question. But what if we have excursions that are far out? Most of the companies on the island have it set up to where the excursion comes pick you up in the metro area and then drives you out there. You do your excursion and then they drive you back. So yet again, you don't need to rent a car. If you live in here, you wouldn't even need to buy a car if you wanted to do that. But again, if you live here, a car is cool to have. It is good to have, depending on how deep into the island you're trying to go. You got to understand how Puerto Rico is. From my understanding, the deeper you go, the less people you're going to see, the less stores, the less hotels, less homes, a lot more space, a lot more countryside, driving through the mountains, kind of like the whole Hawaii vibe too. You can get that out here once you go deeper into the island. So a lot of mountains, a lot of trees. So you can, get a car, or it would be necessary to have a car if you want to do all that, because you know, Uber doesn't really stretch that deep out there. But if you just coming on vacation right here in the metro area, you're gonna be for the most part of the time. You don't need to rent a car. If you're gonna be living in this metro area, say you move to Puerto Rico and you're living in this metro area, I'm talking like the Miramar area, the tourist area, Old San Juan, Santurce, Carolina, again, Isla Verde, even somewhat out in Piñones. You don't necessarily need to have a car or to buy a car, because everything is literally right here on this strip, or in this area, period. All the hotels, all the restaurants, all the stores, Walmarts, Pueblos, all the fast food spots, all your doctors, and this, that, everything is literally in this metropolitan area of Puerto Rico. So you don't have to have a car. Would it be nice? Yes, you know, but a lot of people ask that question and be like, man, I don't know if I can move around without a car. It does help depending on what you're trying to do. That's a big part of it. It's all dependent on what type of experience you're trying to have. I'm sorry, getting stuck on my words. It all depends on the type of experience you are trying to have when you come out to Puerto Rico. Most people, when they come out to Puerto Rico for visit, they do stay in the metropolitan, into the tourist area. They do stay around where all the clubs, the bars, the restaurants, unless it's an excursion. Usually they're not going out into the rainforest unless an excursion is taking them out there or something of that sort. So it's all kind of set up the way it's supposed to be set up to be convenient for you. So yeah, I hope that answers some of your questions. So for my final answer, do you feel that it is absolutely necessary for you to have a car to move around in Puerto Rico? To me, the answer is no. It's more so depending on what type of experience you want to have. Again, the Ubers are super cheap, like super cheap. You can get a normal, what's a $15 Uber in the States. You can get that same Uber for $5 to $8 down here. Sometimes the average Uber drive that I make is about $4. $4 is the lowest price I've ever seen. Maybe like $3.90 for an Uber ride, depending on where I was going. So, but yeah, Uber is very cheap, and then also the public transportation is free. You can ride the bus, you can ride the train for free. They also have little motorized scooters and bikes out here that are very cheap as well. Because again, everything is close, so you can get to everything pretty quickly. So my estimation, no. But if you want to go out into the rainforest, if you want to go out deep into the island, or you drive into maybe another city like Ponce or something like that, which is on the south of the island, then yes. But you could fly into Ponce Airport too. That would be a lot easier. So yeah, not a necessity, but it would help if you have certain things on your list. But everything for most tourists and travelers, you can get to in the metro area by Uber, by public transportation, even by scooter, and pay a very, very cheap, very low cost. That's one thing that I find very, very interesting out here in Puerto Rico, is that the price of travel is extremely cheap. All right, well, hope that was some good information for those who's traveling to Puerto Rico or even thinking about moving here like I did. Hope that helps. Peace.